Hi, my name is Rachel Quintana, and for my reflective practitioner project, I chose an article titled Students' Personality Types and Predisposition Towards Distance Education. Authors are Charles Fornaciari and Charles Matthews. So the summary of this article, basically the purpose of this article was to explore what type of personality traits are more attracted to distance learning. In addition to personality types, researchers wanted to know if certain courses were seen as more accessible to distance learning. So types of courses that may be easier or more attractive to take online versus face-to-face. So hypothesis one was consistent with past research. The experimenters proposed that those who scored higher in introversion, intuition, thinking, and perceiving personality traits, also known as INTP, were more likely to enroll in distance learning courses. So this would be generalized as an introverted type of personality. Students that score higher in extroversion, sensing, feeling, and judging will be less likely to enroll in distance learning. And all of these are kind of two separate groups, introversion versus extroversion. And these are derived from the Myers-Briggs trait inventory, which is very commonly used in research involving personality traits. So hypothesis two, students are more likely to choose distance learning courses that are considered introverted. So classes more having to do with reading, memorization, rather than classes that involve group work or group discussion. Hypothesis three, students were more likely to choose distance learning courses that are geared towards sensing rather than intuition. So classes that are a bit more obvious rather than kind of trusting your gut. And then hypothesis four, students are more likely to choose distance learning courses that are thinking based opposed to feeling based. And then these last three hypotheses don't have to do with personality traits of this specific participant, but more personality traits within each course. So the sample size of the experiment was 236 freshman students from a small state university in southeastern part of the US. The methodologies they used for this experiment were the Myers-Briggs type inventory and a questionnaire which asked what type of distance learning courses they would prefer to enroll. And this refers to hypothesis 2, 3, and 4. And this was done over a 2-week period in the beginning of the freshman year. So the results from this experiment, so hypothesis one, students who had the INTP or the more introverted personalities were more attracted to distance learning. And in fact, 30% of those that were had introverted personalities had already planned for at least 4 online courses in their first year of school, which is kind of a high number considering that's half of their whole entire freshman year. So I thought that was interesting. Hypothesis two, students preferred introverted distance learning courses compared to extroversion. So that's just students preferred to do, if it was an online course, they preferred to do it where group work or class discussion or something like that was involved in their online course. Hypothesis three, students strongly preferred sensing distance learning courses compared to intuition. So just more of like a common feel rather than trusting their gut. And then students strongly preferred thinking distance learning outcomes compared to feeling. So hypothesis 3 and 4 had very strong numbers. They were in the like almost 50.0 ish. So those are the two higher ones. Hypothesis 2 wasn't as high as the other ones. So some takeaways from this article. So this article addresses distance learning and how it may not be ideal for everyone based on their personality types. So I thought this article was interesting because it addresses specifically personality types and how they will go along with distance learning. And I think it's really relative for what we are working with right now. A lot of students are kind of being forced into this online learning environment, and some people just aren't used to it. Some people are happy about it. So I thought it was an interesting kind of lens using personality traits to kind of understand what kind of differences people have that would make them more inclined to online versus in face-to-face. So it also shows that students are knowledgeable about what courses may be easier to grasp with distance learning. Thought this was kind of interesting because it didn't have to do with the students' personalities, but more of like the personality of the class. So it was very obvious that students were aware that classes about theory and classes that really are heavily based in discussion are way less likely to be taken online and way more preferred to be face-to-face. And I think this is interesting information going forward as we are all doing distance learning, because it is harder to kind of grasp some of these concepts in class or in an online class versus a face-to-face. So this article will challenge me in the future to be more aware of what classes I take online. Obviously, we don't have too much of a choice right now, but really understanding what the class is going to be about and if it's the best choice to take it online. Also, I think going forward in the path of education, knowing that it may be more of a struggle for certain people, and less motivating to be in face-to-face and have the same effect. Maybe it's more positive for others to be online. So although this article was very informative, I did find some issues with external validity due to the population used for the experiment. They only used freshman students, which I do understand for when the hypothesis 2, 3, and 4, when they asked about future classes. However, I would assume and hypothesize if they used a wider group of students, including upper graduate, that they would find that more people, due to the classes being harder, would choose face-to-face learning over distance learning. So I think there may be a lot more reasons contributing to what causes someone to choose online versus distance learning. Personality trait may definitely be a key, a role in that, but there's definitely a lot more factors. Here's my reference page, and that's it. Thank you.